So a lot of you guys have been DMing me difficult questions about Christianity, some philosophical ones and some very intense topics in the Bible. That's why I picked up some books to help me answer these, and even my own apologetics Bible, because apologetics is a crucial study if we want to understand our faith better. But here's my issue. I've been following the apologetics community for about a year now, and I've noticed some intellectual dishonesty and even bad faith when certain influencers defend Christianity. For example, American chattel slavery. I absolutely agree that Christianity played a major role in abolition. I literally made a whole video on it. But the intellectual dishonesty steps in when people say the Bible never endorsed slavery. Full stop. The Exodus passages can absolutely be interpreted that way. And that does not mean that white slave owners were correct. It does mean that they did use those texts to justify 200 years of agony for our black brothers and sisters. And ignoring that leaves a huge hole for curious skeptics who genuinely believe that the Bible endorsed that old system. My next point is socialism and economics. I keep saying over and over that the Bible doesn't endorse any political system. Putting Jesus in a political box is sinful, and that applies to both progressive Christianity and conservative Christianity. But naturally, since we live in a capitalist society, all the energy is poured into denouncing socialism and Marxism. So I agree that Marxism is dangerous just because of its anti-religious themes, but are we going to ignore the cons of capitalism? So when a non-believer tells us that Christians basically worship Western capitalism, what's our response? Why aren't we holding capitalism to the same standard we use for socialism? Why is 2 Thessalonians 3 used to dunk on socialism but never questioned as a pro-capitalist verse? My third point is the tone and posture of apologetic influencers. It's becoming more about scoring points, addressing low-hanging fruit, and building a platform, instead of grounding people's faith in Christ. And when you lack the depth of historical nuance, I think it helps explain why so many deconstruction questions get ignored. If the goal is defending the religion more than answering the actual hard questions, it makes you wonder if there's some kind of underlying agenda. And that leads to my final point, political bias. I've seen a radicalization lately that caters not just to conservative Christians, but conservative politics. The way slavery gets half addressed, the apologetics for capitalism, the lack of critique towards politicians weaponizing Christianity, it's concerning, and it's created a massive stigma around our faith. It begs the question if these constant debates against leftism, feminism, Islam, and atheism are really just addressing the symptoms and not the root. Because when you factor in church abuse, patriarchal norms that have pushed women away, and the rise of Christian nationalism, I think those are far more pressing reasons why people are deconstructing. So instead of only tackling what's being deconstructed, why not also ask why these curious skeptics are deconstructing in the first place? Since I have a ton of respect for a lot of these apologist influencers, this isn't meant as an attack, it's a challenge, because I generally want their work to address the deeper reasons to why people are leaving the faith. And that's why I made this platform, because I want to tackle more nuances to why people are leaving the faith, not just take one dimension on it. So yeah, that's it. God bless.